we are going to learn two gathas, part of one, first one. It says so here, Satam Asatam Yamahu Loke Tamupanisya Pahuti Chandu. Satam means the pleasurable feeling and enticing object. Pleasurable feeling and enticing object. Asata means the displeasure feeling and the repulsive object. And Buddha says, because of this pair, that desire come to arise. What they call appealing and unappealing. In the world, in the dependent on that, the desire come to arise. Because of this pair, the desire come to arise. So you understand when it is sata, in other words, pleasurable feeling and enticing object, then this belt will rotate. Because it's enticing. But Buddha is saying the other way around also. When it is asata, the displeasure feeling and the repulsive object, again the belt rotates. How do we know that? You see, if you are handcuffed, then you want to get rid of it. If you are in jail, you want to come out of it. So whether you like it or not, this one rotates. When it rotates, what will happen on the right side is the consciousness is formed. It is constructed. When the consciousness gets established, then the name and form. So what are the name and form? That is, the name and form is this form is physical nutriment. For the name part, we have this contact, feeling, perception, volition, and the attention. Attention is not marked over here. So those things come to arise. And in the second gatha, it says, Namancha Rupancha Paticca Passo. The condition by name and form is contact. The name and form now create the contact. In other words, when this belt is spinning over here with this appealing or unappealing scenario, consciousness is getting constructed and then you get the name and form. From the name and form, you get the contact. So there is another belt over here. So that while this loop is running, another one constructed over here, joining that belt and running to this side. And it says appropriations have their cause as longing. Iccha nidanani pariprani. Iccha is craving. Because of the craving, you get the appropriation. So we learn appropriation, before. And then it says, Iccha santya nama mati. When longing isn't, minus does not exist. When there is this craving, Iccha, the minus. So the minus is that you take this I as mine, E as mine, and so on. Minus does not exist. And Buddha said, Rupe vibhutena pusanti passa. That means when forms have disappeared, contacts do not touch. Now you can see the form. How powerful is the form? So if the form is not there, that you actually exceed the form using your meditations, then there won't be any contact. You see, so we were not actually thinking about the form that much before. The form is a very powerful thing. So this exceeding the form, that is, the form disappeared means exceeding the form, it is fourfold. The one is, it's called Jnata Vibhutena. That means we are looking as elements. That this element of extension, element of cohesion, element of motion, element of heat, element of motion, things like that one. Then, the excrement, these 32 parts of the body, you got out of it. So you exceed the form will disappear. And the next one is called Thirana Vibhuta. That means, like in the Sila Sutta, the virtue discourse that you just look at, then you are looking at the form as impermanent. So there is a decision within you that form is impermanent. After a little while, you are not saying, no, the form is now permanent. So you got a decision. From that decision, you exceed the form. And there is another one called Pahana Vibhutena. That means abandonment of the form. That in this case, a monk does not tolerate a thought of sensual desire, ill will, and then the harming thoughts, so that he can get rid of the form. Because the sensual desire has something to do with the form, so therefore you are exceeding the form by that way. And the fourth one is called samatikkama vibhutiya. In other words, it's a formless sphere attainment. That means you are going to space is infinite, consciousness is infinite, and so on. So by that attainment also you can exceed the form. It does not mean, although you exceed the form and went to the formless sphere, like space is infinite, and if you are holding to that one, then you are not exceeding. Because it's like that, you have some dirt in your house. One day, having seen that this is dirt, you got rid of it. And then you tell somebody else, what are you saying? Well, you are saying, I got rid of the dirt. So you are still referring to the dirt, the form. So it does not mean that I go there, but I am still talking about this, I am holding to the form. If you are not holding to the form, then you exceed the form. In this, by 4 ways, that if you exceed the form, you won't get any contact. This contact will not arise. Therefore, you can get rid of the suffering. So form is a very powerful thing. Why we use this Gatha? One thing is that for the next one that we are going to learn, you need this particular one called Satang and Nasatang, the pleasurable feeling and enticing object. So this is in English they are translating it as appealing, and the Asatam they are translating it as unappealing, appealing and unappealing. That is one thing. The other thing is an application of the meditation you just did. In that meditation you came to a conclusion, and there is a decision within you that form is impermanent, it is suffering. So we learn impermanence, suffering, not self, and so on, so that you apply that one to the form, so that you exceed it. So using this one, we are going to do the for the meditation part, we are going to learn another Gatha. That one is written over here in this document. In Pali it is Krodho Mosa Vajjancha Katang Katancha Etepi Dhamma Dhameva Sante Katankati Naanapatha Sikke. So this one, it says anger, untruth and doubts. So you can see nearby the head, down below, there is this anger. And then there is this untruth, that is lying. So it is this yellow one over here. And then the doubt is over here. So what Buddha is saying, the anger, untruth and the doubt, these states are arising because of the existence of the duality. What is the duality? Appealing and unappealing. Sata, asata, the enticing object, and then you have this pleasurable feeling and enticing object. Or else the displeasure feeling and the repulsive object. Because of this duality, this pair, then you are getting these states, anger, and then this untruth, that is lying, as well as the doubt. And it says, let a doubter train himself by way of knowledge path. So there is a knowledge path over here, which we are going to discuss next. The doubter. What is this doubter? You see, here nearby this anger, look at the things around it. Aging, sickness, sadness. So that is the reality. That is the reality in our life. But when your body is subject to this aging, your skin got wrinkle, then they advertise on TV. If you apply oil of Yule, then you can get rid of these wrinkles. So you have this problem, so you go there and buy this particular thing and apply for a whole month. You are spending your money as well as time, and after 1 month you see your skin is the same, worse than before, and nothing changed. And now you are actually sort of thinking, that I spend money as well as, this is my time and nothing has happened. So this is the reality. But you thought that it can be fixed. So that is the untruth. Or else if we take another example, well, I mean, then in that case you have a doubt. The doubt is that is this one is the truth. That the reality, aging, sickness, this is the truth. Or what I heard from the TV, that can be fixed. So then you have that lie. So then you get the doubt over here. Or maybe, because you are doubtful, somebody is actually saying, I applied it and it worked for me. And then you are doubtful, did I do it right then? Maybe I have to apply in the morning and in the afternoon or something like that. So another example is that, let us say, when in an institution something is broken, then they inform to the head of the department, and then head of the department, there's a section to fix those things. Then he call them and say, this particular thing has broken, go and fix it. By that time the departmental head actually think that it can be fixed, and he thinks there got to be a way. That's how this Europeans think, there got to be a way. Then they are actually even thinking that aging can be fixed. That's how they are thinking these days. So then those people who are supposed to fix this thing, after examining this one, they are coming back and reporting. They are saying, we have aging infrastructure, we can't fix this. Like we have old computers, those computers can't work like the new computer. So they are saying, we have aging infrastructure, how can we work like that one? It is broken, means it's broken, we can't fix it. So the now departmental head has got the doubt. Now he thinks that now he thought something, I can fix it. So that this particular lie, is that the truth? Or is it actuality over here, the aging, the sadness, sickness, are these things are the truth? So he's doubt. Now the departmental head want to go in he want to improve the institution and so on. So we are talking about this doubting person as a person who want to improve. So that there are these discourses of the Buddha. It says that if you go after women and going after taking alcohol and so on, and if you wander around in streets in the bad time, then you will decline from your wealth. So there is this discourse. So having known this one, now he is thinking what way that I am going to lose these things, and then he trained in this knowledge path. And then taught by the recluse that this Buddha is knowingly deliver these things to human beings, saying that there is this path and so on, having known the impermanency and so on. So this Gatha is appearing in Mahanidesa. That is the only place it is available. You see, Buddha's all the discourses, they are a knowledge path to go to Nibbana. The Metta Sutta, remember that you start from this Ujjusuju, upright, exceedingly upright, and then you go to the, I'm not going to go to mother's womb and so on. So it's a knowledge path. Similarly, there are knowledge paths. Every discourse is like that one. People do not know this one. People think it's just a discourse, It's a knowledge path to Nibbana. So it is very important not to break the knowledge path as well. Because when you are mixing one discourse with another, you should know where to join it. It's like that you are making two canals. One is coming, the other one is coming the other way around, and it is not joining together. So that's why people should not be writing books about Buddhism. They should use Buddha's discourses as it is and only explain that one. That's what we do. And people think that I can write Buddhism, and then they go and pick up something here, something there. It's like the two canals, they are not meeting. They are not going to Nibbana. So that's why my advice for you, if you are reading Buddhism, don't read any books written by anyone. You read only Buddha's discourses, that's all. So I was asking Sampati Mahaprabhu, why is it that this only Gatha is available on Mahanidesa and nowhere else? And you can see this occurrence of that one in many places in Buddhism. You know that there is this discourse, the Ratavinita, the relay chariot discourse. And there Punyamatani Buddha and the Venerable Sariputta is talking about this 7 kind of purification, purification by virtue and the wisdom and so on. And nowhere else it is appearing in the discourses. Only one place. The Sampati Mahaprabhu said, the way that Arahants in Akanita Brahmarelam, how they calculate the Dhamma, preached by Buddha, the Gautama Buddha has preached the 16,000 things, 16,000, I can't put it, what is called Banavara means, some sort of a stream going to Nibbana, 16,000. Out of that one, he said, 12,000 got destroyed. What you are looking at today is only 4,000. That 4,000 is also massive, it's about 50 books over there. Now, out of those 50 books, you have learned a little bit, read a little bit over here. So, that 50 books are also massive. So, Buddha has preached the 16,000. We got only 4,000. That's why it's very difficult for people today to, go into higher states, enlightenment and so on, because that the long ones that Buddha has preached, they disappeared. There are about 31 discourses in long length sayings, but they are also sometimes short. Certain places are very short. So let us go back to this Mahanidesa part that I have extracted. Nobody has translated it, so I have to translate it. So this Gatha, anger, untruth and doubts, these states have merely arise because of the existence of this duality. So here we are focusing on the Katankati Naanapatha Sikke. A doubter trained himself by way of knowledge path. What is the knowledge path? And in Pali it is called Naanapatha. The knowledge itself is a knowledge path. Objects of knowledge is also knowledge path. The ideas arising from knowledge is also knowledge path. And this has to be seen. The way to become Deva, God, is a Deva path. If you want to go to the divine world, then you need to practice virtue. So by practicing virtue, you can be born in divine world. And the way to become Brahma is Brahma path. What is Brahma path? Brahma path is Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekka, loving kindness, compassion, appreciative joy, and equanimity. So that is the path to go to the Brahma world. And again, the way to become noble is the noble eightfold path. The eightfold path we discussed on the first day, that is the path to become a noble person. So in the same way that the way to become Deva is Deva path, the way to become Brahma is a Brahma path. So the way to become Aryan is a noble eightfold path. So this we are talking about the knowledge itself, a knowledge path. And the objects of knowledge is also knowledge path. The things that you are contemplating, the elements, here with the body and so on, those things. And they are not mind sort of scenario, they become knowledge path. So that's we understood what it means by knowledge path. And then it says, Katankati Naanapatha Sikke. Sikke means training. So train. So there are 3 types of training. The first one is the trained by high morality, Adi Sila Sikha. So that is, that a householder got to have 5 precepts. He should be refraining from killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, and he should be refraining from lying as well as taking intoxicating drinks. But if you are a follower of the Eightfold Path, you need a little bit more. Not only lying, you need to get rid of harsh speech, slander, and frivolous talks. So those 7 should be there. And then, if you are going to have the right livelihood, then quite a lot of virtue associated with it. A monk should practice quite a lot of virtue. So that is the trained by high morality. And then the trained by high thought, that adichitta sikha. This is this first, second, third and fourth jhana concentration. Remember we discussed that one yesterday, that you with the initial application, sustained application. Then you with the seclusion you go to the first jhana concentration, which is born of aloofness and have the rapture and pleasure. Your initial application, sustained application, vitakka vichara, would be for thought of renunciation, thought of non-malevolence, thought of non-harming. For the thought of renunciation, then you went through that 32 parts of the body, the hair of the body, nails, teeth, and so on. So then you have the thought of renunciation for that one. So you are happy with this first jhana concentration, but then you see there is this particular cost that you have to pay. There's a price. What's the price? You have to think hair of the body, nails, teeth, skin, flesh. 31. You need to go through that one. So you do not like to pay that price, so that you remember. Only way to get rid of that one is when you say hair, it is in the same boat as urine excrement and so on. So as soon as you have that one, you are mindful about it, then you can go to the second jhana concentration. There you don't have initial application, sustained application. You don't have to keep on thinking about it. Without thinking, but with the mindfulness, you can go to the rapture and pleasure. So you are happy with this rapture, the second jhana concentration. But then you see some sort of a danger in this one. The danger is that the rapture you feel starting from your head, it is flowing through the body. And you feel it physically. If you feel something physically, then you can get attached to it. So therefore, you would be happy to fade away the rapture, to have the pleasure. After the rapture, there is pleasure. So fading away of rapture, without this initial application, sustained application, won't go on now. Now he is actually reaching third jhana concentration with the pleasure is there. Now, when you have this pleasure, that the pleasure is the one that I was talking about, you feel from your eyeball, face, everywhere, and it's really good. Then at one time, actually you wonder, if we are actually experiencing this amount of pleasure with this third jhana, the Buddha understood the whole, dependent origination to the detail, how much pleasure he would have had, when he was there. So now, although we say pleasure here, what is there in the world? It is suffering. That is what is there in the world. The reality is suffering. So then what am I talking about this pleasure? The pleasure is temporary. Because your faculties, the faculty of wisdom, mindfulness and so on, they develop. So the stream of consciousness is flowing through your head in a certain manner. So this is a temporary thing. Now you understand the reality is the suffering. Therefore, suffering, the reality will come to arise. The pleasure will vanish. It's like you are looking at a person who is just about to die. So then you get the equanimity and then you reach the fourth jhana concentration. So here you getting rid of the pain as well as the pleasure both. How do you get rid of the pain? When you're sitting down on that chair, become uncomfortable, you feel like getting out. But if you have the rapture, then it's flowing through your head and you are happy to stay here. What happened? When there is rapture, you are not having any focus to your bottom parts or back part, so that rapture take your pain away from that one. And going from third jhana to fourth jhana, we get rid of pleasure. So we are now stable. Because if you fall from pleasure, you get pain. The opposite of pain is pleasure. Both are got rid of. Now you are in a stable position. That is the fourth jhana with equanimity. So that is what is you talking about, the higher thought, adichitta siksha. There are a little bit more than that one, but this is good enough for the moment. And then next one is the trained by higher wisdom. The trained by higher wisdom is this adipanya sikka in Pali. That is a noble one's attainment. For example, on the first day we were contemplating about the rising and passing away phenomena of form and so on. So one seek delight, welcome it and so on. So then you understand because of the existence, the birth come to be. With the cessation of existence, the cessation of birth. So that understanding, arising and passing. So that is this trained by higher wisdom, which the noble one has got that one. So that is this train. A doubter with various doubts, having shame in mind, to gain wisdom, train himself by way of knowledge path. So here you see that there are things that we do from our mind. You see, we are normally ashamed of having bad conduct, like killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. You are ashamed of that. That is bodily ones. And then you have this bad conduct. They are the bad verbal conduct, lying, harsh speech, frivolous talks, and slander. And then you are ashamed of those things as well. Sometimes when you tell a lie, some sort of a wrong thing to someone, without knowing, then your hand come to your mouth, oh, I told him wrong thing, isn't it? You are ashamed of that one. Likewise, there is this thing about the mind. What are the things, bad things we do from the mind? The bad conduct of the mind. The wrong view, covetousness, and then you have ill will. So now you are ashamed of that one. That is what is called this chitta vileka, the shame in mind. That is, you are ashamed that for me there was wrong view. I did not have the right view. And then you are thinking, I had the ill will. I did not have the non-ill will. I did have the covetousness. I did not have non-covetousness. So that way, you are ashamed of those bad conduct of the mind. So this person is now training, going through those knowledge path. And the last part of the Gatha is, it says knowing, Jnatva is knowing. Buddha preached Dhamma knowingly, having examined, having the judgment. You see, you had a judgment little while ago, doing the virtue discourse. When you meditated, you had a judgment. It is impermanent. After, if you started with the meditation with the impermanence, suffering and so on, after a little while you are saying, no, you are not saying, no, now it is permanent. So then impermanent, you got the judgment. So likewise, having the judgment, Tirana in Pali, as in Sila Sutta, judgment, that form is impermanent, subject to suffering, and etc. You don't have a doubt about it. Knowing that all formations are impermanent, subject to suffering and not self. Knowing that ignorance as condition, volitional formations come to be. With the volitional formations as condition, the consciousness come to be. With consciousness as condition, name and form come to be. So depending on the name and form, then you get this eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and the mind and so on, then the contact. So down to the existence, you get this suffering. So this is the description about that Gatha. So it says that we are going to train ourselves. So then let us go to that diagram and then look at this knowledge path. So here we are talking about the knowledge path. So the knowledge path is the path written over here. Now you need to enter to this knowledge path. How do you enter? That technique you already know. Remember, we look at the painful way with slow realization. There you meditated about 5 things. First, the loathsomeness in food. You are analyzing the vomit. And then the foul nature. The hair of the body, nails, teeth and so on. So the loathsomeness in body. And then the next one is the contemplation of distaste for the whole world. The Sabbaloke Anibrata Sanya, which you did with the Dadato Punya Gatha. And again, using the same Gatha, you did the contemplation of impermanence in all formations. Remember that Atti, Hara, the trouble, worried, troubled, and then you are disgusted, loaths the feeling like the pleasure and the beauty. And the last one is this contemplation about the death. So those 5. When you do that one, then you come to the first jhana concentration with the rapture and so on. And then after that one, you did mindfulness regarding body. So then you understood such is form, such is the arising of form, such is the passing away of form. So remember that we were looking at you put a dead body and then you look at arising and passing away. So that is how one seek delight in form, welcomes it, remain wholly into it. By doing that one, the delight in form come to arise. The delight in form is clinging as condition, the existence as condition, but that is the arising. And again you are looking at the passing away phenomena of that one. Does not seek delight, does not welcome, does not remain holy, and so on. So with the cessation of existence, the cessation of birth. So then there was this noble understanding came to you. Yes, it is because of the existence of craving that birth come to be. So then you touch the Nibbana. So you went to the first divine, you went to the divine abiding, that's called Dibba Vihara, and you touches the Nibbana and you understood yourself as that someone who is living like a worm in a cow dung. And you touch the Nibbana, you knew there is something apart from this cow dung world. So you put effort to get rid of this cow dung scenario. That was your first effort. That effort not to have sensual thought, ill will thought, harming thought. So that is the effort we are marking over here. So you come through that path, yesterday first meditation. So you come up to the effort. So you do not stop over there. Now you are saying I don't want sensual thought, ill will thought, harming thought, because I will be fallen to that cow dung again. So while you were away from cow dung, you saw the worm in the cow dung is born over there, and the sickness, the aging, sickness and death. So you saw the noble truth, first noble truth, birth, aging, sickness, death, sorrow, lamentation, and so on. And then you came to Satchaditthana, determination for truth. And then in the determination of truth, that you understood whatever mechanism I use, chemistry, physics, mathematics, engineering, medicine, the worm is actually going to die, not going to live. There is no way that one can construct the consciousness. It is always falling. So then you understood the consciousness is not lasting. Whatever way I construct, the consciousness is not lasting. What is lasting is Nibbana. Whatever in the world is deceptive, subject to falsity. Nibbana is the only thing is not subject to falsity. What is Nibbana? Nibbana is to be found within. It is the cessation of all the craving that you have. When it is gone, then there is this Nibbana. So then he got to this desire, Chanda Samadhi, concentration is to desire, that let me attain that Nibbana, because it is the only one lasting, anything else is false. So that is what is written over here, the second one. Concentration is to desire. So now when you come over here, at this particular point, if you are respecting what you said before, what did you say in this knowledge path? You said this effort over here. I don't want sensual thought, ill will thought, harming thought. If you are respecting that one, then you can come to this emptiness here, shunyata. You see, it is like, people who drink alcohol. At the night time they drink. In the morning they say, I got a headache, I'm vomiting, I'm not going to drink this thing anymore. In the afternoon, his friend is coming, let's have a drink, and then he has forgotten all the things that what he said about the headache and all those things. Now he drink. So if you are not behaving like that one, because in the morning means that with the effort, before eating this one, you have this effort You are saying, I don't want sensual thought, ill thought and harming thought. And in the afternoon also you are maintaining that one. Then you come to this shunyata, empty. This one can be one time, fourth jhana. Another time, it is the seventh jhana. Then another time, that is liberation due to mind, liberation of the mind. So that is powerful. And there is another way to come to this line. What is that way? You see, if you are seeking delight from your eye, would that be empty? Because you are finding something always. If you are seeking delight from ear, tongue and so on, it won't be empty. So if I do not seek delight in the eye, I do not welcome it, I do not remain whole into it, then you can see, you go to the emptiness. That is your first meditation, isn't it? First day, first meditation. Does not seek delight, does not welcome, does not remain holding. So therefore, using the first meditation also you can come over here. And there is another way, which you learned little while ago. Remember, we had a baby type body, birth, subject to aging, sickness and death. After death, you are in the mind-made body and you have not eaten. So therefore it is suffering. You are separated from the baby type body, that it is impermanent. So you are going down over here, impermanent and suffering. And going to the right side, that is aging. So that means changing. So you wrote down over here, if it is impermanent, subject to suffering, and it is changing, is it befitting for me to take it, regard it as mine? So if you answer correctly, then if you say no, then you come over here. So you can see this is written as wisdom over here. This is actually concentration. Sampati Mahabrahma wrote it as a wisdom. You see, here we are always, in this teaching, we only talk about a concentration that is appearing only because of a wisdom. Other concentrations are no value. Buddha says these are only for abiding ease. That is only thing. Here we are talking about in a noble way. Because you understood that it is not befitting for me to take, regard it as mine, with that wisdom, you achieve a concentration. And that is the valuable concentration. So this is the arising of wisdom with the concentration. Now, you see, remember, when we were looking at that Dadadu Punyam Gatha, we were looking at, this excrement is not mine, urine is not mine, and so on. Having done that one, we are saying, well, these things are crappy things, they are not mine anyway. But that little baby, the baby is mine. That because of the nice skin around the body, and they say, baby is mine. So that means you have a doubt whether this is mine or not. If you do not have that doubt, then you go to this high wisdom. And that one is marked over here. That's how you reach. Eliminating the doubt, you come over here. That means you are very successful doing that Dadatu Punyam Gatha meditation, that over diagram, that these things are not mine. Definitely, the baby is also crap, it's not mine, like that. Or else, that the concentration discourse, first meditation, arising and passing, you really understood. Because of the existence of craving, the birth come to be. With the cessation of that one, there is no birth. So that noble understanding. So when you get the wisdom, then you get the faith. So this faith is not a blind faith. Normally when people talk about faith, they talk about blind faith most of the time. Here is because of the wisdom, faith arises. So which one is bigger? Is the faith is the bigger one, or the wisdom is the bigger one? Or larger, bigger, whatever way. What do you think? Some people think the wisdom is the bigger one. Someone thinks faith is the bigger one. The faith is the bigger one. You see, in Akanita Brahmarelam, there are these 14 great Arahants. Those 14 great Arahants has got Buddha knowledges. But they never say they are equivalent to the Buddha. They say that when Mandaladipati Buddhapaya, for example, he has heard Dhamma from 2,500 Buddhas, starting from the Buddha enlightenment to the final Nibbana. He has heard all the Dhammas. Out of 2500 Buddhas, still he is not equal to the Buddha. They are Buddha's disciples. You see why we say this one? Buddha took some leaves to his hand and then asked from monks, is the leaves over here, is the bigger, or the leaves, the amount of leaves here, or the leaves in the forest? So monks is saying there are more leaves in that forest. And Buddha said, what I preached is, in this handful of things. What I know is like the leaves in the forest. So Buddha knows that much. He teaches us only those things that are required just for us to attain the Nibbana. Buddha knows quite a lot about the other worlds and so on. Certain Dhamma, things that Buddha knows, can be learned from Akanita Brahmaradam Arahants. But although you know that one, it is forbidden to say it to normal, the living beings, because they get confused. They might insult the Buddha in that case. So even the Buddha has been careful in certain occasions not to say things in front of the crowd, because they are ignorant, not knowing. They actually say something against the Buddha, then it is for many eons that will be bad for them. So we can see the faith is the biggest one. So there is only one person that the faith is equivalent to wisdom. That is only the Buddha himself. For anybody else, faith is the biggest one. The other ones, you can write down the equation. The faith onto the left side as the y equals x is this wisdom plus mindfulness another one, and then the effort is another one, and so on. It's like an equation. So the faith is the biggest one. But this is not a blind faith. The blind faith in the sense sometimes those grandmothers sort of sometimes say in rural area, I have faith in the Buddha and so on. But somebody go there and say, Grandma, I will give you $1 billion. Please come to our religion, and then she will leave Buddhism and go into that one. But this faith here we are talking about, this person who has got the wisdom and got the faith, then if he were told that I will give you, the whole world, he will not leave the Buddha, because he knows the value of that one. From this faith, you get the sense of shame, healing. Now you are ashamed of doing bad conduct like, killing, stealing, and so on. Remember, we discussed something called Santrindriyoja Nipakoja. That means the restraint of the sense faculties lead to this prudent. The prudent can be marked over here. That is the spot for that one. Just next to this disparaging down below, that is the prudent. But if you draw a line, you don't have to draw a line. If you draw it through the faith, shame, then what you get is prudent thing. How do we sort of put it in that way? That let's take a simple example. Let us say in a village there is this father and the mother. And this father is telling the mother, don't do this sexual misconduct. So mother listening to that one, not having sexual misconduct, and she lives. And then not only that one, she is not killing, not stealing, and so on. The virtue is there. So the people in the village are saying, this couple is behaving very well. So that means the faith that here you can say, this is the father, the Buddha. From that one, you get this prudent thing. So if this is like a father and the mother, then you can see their child is the one fear of wrongdoing here. Now you are afraid of doing this bad conduct like killing, stealing. You are afraid of doing that one. It is like that when the mother and father is going somewhere, they say to these little ones, don't poke these metal pieces in the plug because you might get electric shock. Likewise, Buddha said, don't kill. You might go to hell. So then there is this fear. So from that one, you come to effort. So that is the place you started, entering this one. So you can see that you can continue in your path if you want. On the effort, desire, and then the emptiness, this number 10, wisdom, and then the wisdom on the top, faith and sense of shame, fear of wrongdoing, and then coming back to effort. But we can see there's another path. When I come to effort, there is another path that I can go to mindfulness and then come through the number 10 to wisdom, faith, shame, fear of wrongdoing, and effort, and coming back to mindfulness. This one is a bit shorter. This diagram has been drawn to a scale. So if you measure the length from effort to mindfulness and mindfulness to number 10 is smaller than this length effort to concentration due to desire to the number 10 over here. So this is a shorter path. So you spend less petrol going on that one. But then there is another shorter path. You see, what is this one? This one is actually, now you remember, this is the second jhana and beyond. Now you remember about this, when you say here, it is in the boat of urine and excrement. You don't have to go through 32 parts. So this is the second jhana and beyond. And there's another shorter path. What is that shorter path? On the mindfulness, number 10 over here, shunyata, empty, and then you go to wisdom, and through the faith you come to mindfulness. So over here, that is the formless sphere attainments. So you can write down over here in this particular line, going from faith to mindfulness, that is formless sphere. Formless sphere attainments. You see, there is no form in this path, isn't it? The only form in this diagram, which one is the only form in this diagram? That is this physical nutriment. Anything else is mind, inside the mind. So now it is out of this path, so the formless sphere. So now you can go through these paths the way you want, and you can train yourself. So this training can be done like a person, this gymnastic playing person, you can play like that one. Let us say there are 3 pegs, for you to, jump up and hold into. One is attached to the spring over here. In the point there is effort. The other one at the point mindfulness. The other one at the point of wisdom. So there are three pegs for you to, go and hang. So let us say someone he's facing towards the physical nutriment over here, jump up and hold into the wisdom peg. And then you would swing your body and put your body on the top of the mindfulness, and then you put your leg underneath the effort. You can sort of block it like that one, and your knee would be on the top of the mindfulness, and then your body is hanging like that one, and you are holding to the wisdom. What do you see? Now you see this physical nutriment. This is a person with wisdom, because they are hanging on to the wisdom. So the person with wisdom, he knows that it is not good to look at the physical nutriment, because you would get ignorance when you think about it. You see the cutlet is there or something like that one. That is what you are getting. So then what he does, he let go of this one, the wisdom thing you are holding, and then you are down over here. So that this particular line is the 6th jhana, from the mindfulness to the empty. So here he is looking from his legs over here, and he hanging the body and looking down. What does he see? He see doubt, isn't he? As well as the line. Those things he would see. Well, he would see the other things over here, death, lamentation, and other things. And from this gatha you can see, he would see these 2 of these things. That is when you are in the 6th jhana, you see. You are doubtful whether you can stay in this jhana concentration as well. And should I be regarding these things as mine? Those things are there. Now, it is not good to look at those things. So therefore, he will again, go and hold the wisdom, and then he releases his legs. So the legs will be over here in the number 10 and hold into the wisdom. In this particular line, he is staying like, the person is in the swimming pool, in that angle. So this is the seventh jhana, the seventh higher level of concentration. So that time, what does he see? He sees the hate. If you remember the definition of non-hate that I gave, you will understand this one. You see, you can't live from fruit. You can't live from the jhana. Even from the seventh jhana, you cannot live. So you see up to that level. So apart from that one, he sees all the other things over here, birth, aging, and so on. Now, having seen that one, now he knows that this is not good to look at these things. So he leaves the seventh jhana and he is going up. So he takes his whole body onto the top of those three pegs. So the pegs are down and he is looking down now. So the mindfulness to the wisdom, then that is the eighth jhana. The neva sanya na sanyayatana. Neither perception nor non-perception level of the concentration. Now he is looking at, well, in the neither perception nor non-perception level, you can't actually perceive anything because there's no perception. But when you come out of it, what do you see? You see this whole thing, line in from the gata. You see the line, the hate, doubt, as well as the bottom. You can see birth, aging, sickness, death, sorrow. The whole mass of suffering is seen. Whatever way, whether I go to the eighth jhana also, and this is what I get. I'm not apart from any of these things. So what you need to do, you need to train yourself like the person who is playing like a gymnastic person. Take these pegs and do that one. So enter this one and play. But yesterday, remember, we were looking at this 5 hindrances. The 5 hindrances are creating a sort of a chair for you to sit down. So I will first describe the bench. Before the chair, you get a bench. But the bench, you can see the doubt and worry, one leg. And then the sloth and torpor and the restlessness, another leg. So it is joined by this particular line and it's a bench. So if you extend the bench, you go to the sensual desire. So someone sleeps flat on that one. So his head is actually holding to the sensual desire, leg onto this worry side. Some people are looking like this one, putting the head, looking top. So what does he actually see? He see physical nirvana. What happens if you see with the sensual desire, you see the physical nirvana? What you get is the ignorance. It's in Avidya Sutta, ignorance discourse. So from these things, what you get is ignorance. So now you can see there's a chair. Chair is now formed. It's like a chair you have seen in, you can comfortably sit down in Sri Lanka also. So you have seen this chair. So that this person's head now move into the ignorance and his back will come over here, worry, and then he is putting leg down over here. So what does he see? Now you can see he is seeing lack of faith because he took this whole, physical neutron sort of scenario, the absence of awareness, unmindfulness, and so on, and the physical neutron over here. So you would bend, go forward and then look, what is the area nearby your leg. So you can see non-restraint of the faculties and the birth, aging. So if you can see through your leg, you can see over here there is this sickness and death. Sometimes those little boys, they creep through the chair arm and going through that one and then looking down with the water coming out from their mouth and looking at, you have seen. So you can see this the line, harsh speech, the slender, and then death over here. Through this leg you can see the sickness. So that's not good to look at those. So then I went to lean onto the right side. So when you lean onto the right side, then your back over here is away from the mental volition. What is your back signifies? The back is the conceit, isn't it? Because people have conceit because they have experiment in their body. That's what the conceit. So, but since you are away from mental volition, then I knew that I can't stay in that posture. So then I turned into the other side, to the left side. So when I turn to the left side, then what I see? Birth, aging, sickness, death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and so on. Whole mass of suffering. At that particular point, I said, a person with wisdom can never sit down on this chair. As soon as I said that one, I went to cessation. The cessation of feeling and perception. That was the first time I went to the cessation of feeling and perception. So you can do the same. Go through that in a knowledge path, the train like that gymnastic person, and then you come back to this chair and sit down in the various postures. And then if you are telling the same thing with understanding that a person with wisdom can't do sitting down on this chair, then you can go to cessation of feeling and perception, so that you don't perceive, you don't feel at that particular time. So the meditation is how you do, you need to enter this one. How do you enter? You use that the painful way with slow realization. Out of those 5 meditation subjects, you take one appeal into you, and because you have done it, very quickly you can come, and then you go to the first jhana concentration. From the first jhana concentration, you do the mindfulness regarding the body. So you contemplate the arising and passing, and then with the noble understanding where the craving, the existence of craving is creating this suffering, the birth, and with the cessation of existence, the cessation of birth. So with that link understanding, you come up to this divine abiding, Dibba Vihara. That is the first jhana with the noble understanding. And then you touch Nibbana, and then you see you are living like a worm in a cow dung. And having known that one, then now you want to get out of this cow dung scenario. So you put the first effort. That first effort is you want to get rid of this sensual thought, ill thought, and the harming thought. So now you are here in the diagram with that thought. And then you continue. Now you are away from the cow dung. Now you see the worm in the cow dung being born there and subject to aging, sickness, and death. That is what is there. That is the first noble truth. And then you have to Satchaditthana, determination for truth, that you see that no way that we can construct consciousness so that it will last. Because whatever chemistry, physics, mathematics, engineering, medicine, nothing will do. So then you understand everything in the world is subject to falsity. What is lasting is Nibbana. So then you get the desire to attain Nibbana. Desire to attain the lasting Nibbana, to get rid of the consciousness that is not lasting. So that is the concentration due to desire. So now you are here. So when you come over there, then if you are respectful of what you said in the morning, that is, you were saying, I don't want sensual thought, ill will thought, and harming thought, then you can go to this emptiness or the wisdom over here, number 10. Or else, if you are saying, if I am not seeking delight in my eye, ear, nose, thumb, body, and the mind, then I will get the emptiness again. And the third meditation, and that is the easiest one, because you did this one in the morning, go through this arrow. And how we do that one? You have the birth, the baby type body, and it is aging, sickness, death. After death, you are in the mind-made body. You have not eaten for many days, so it is suffering. And you are separated from the baby type body. Therefore, it is impermanent. So you go down, impermanent and suffering. To the right side, you are saying it is changing, because birth, aging means changing. So you wrote down over here, if it is impermanent, subject to suffering and changing, is it befitting for me to regard it as mine? So then you come to emptiness. So when you come to this emptiness, as I said, it can be fourth jhana or the seventh jhana or maybe the liberation of the mind. So that is the how you answer it. So if you do not have a doubt, then you go to the higher wisdom. So when you reach over there, then you can use your techniques. You are in the space is infinite or no sort of concentration. You see the light. If you disregard this light is also constructed, it is not mine, then you are going to higher ones and so on. So use your techniques, whatever techniques that you have learned, and whatever technique appealing and working for you. And so you train in this path. Go through the short path and the middle level path and then the shortest path. And then you use that gymnastic person, how does he play, hanging onto these pegs. And then after that turn, you look at the chair, the hindrances chair, sit down on that one and observe, be an observer. And then if you say the same thing that I said, if you have wisdom, you can't sit down on that chair, and then you can go to attain the cessation of feeling and perception, nirodha. So that's the meditation. So let us take 10 or 15 minutes to take this onto your mind, and then let us do the meditation.